Hey guys, so I thought I'd do a segment today with my photography and more so with my Leica M9 and my 35mm Summilux. And this is the first time outside of Singapore that I went with a 35mm Summilux and Leica M9 together as a combo. Prior to this I used my Noctilux, and so this is the first time I've worked with just a 35mm. And I was learning photography on the go at this point in time because I had no clue at this point what a shutter speed was or what focal lengths meant. And I went to Indonesia and we stayed at the Grand Hyatt Jakarta, and when I was staying here it was amazing because you get this beautiful marble decor and you also get a shopping mall with it, with an office building and so forth, and it's significantly different from the places I went later on, which is why I was so thankful I had such a beautiful camera to document this trip with. And you overlook this almost concrete jungle, and it's a highly different kind of concrete jungle to that of Dubai though, which I'll show in a later video. But obviously you can kind of understand that when you walk outside this hotel and you start moving around, you really start to see the difference in the way things are. And when I was in Indonesia, we went to the North Island, where you get places like this, but we went with police escort every once in a while for a day or two. And it didn't actually hamper the experience in any way. In fact, when you're driving through, you really get to see a lot of the remote areas and so forth like this, where it was amazing because you'd actually see it not too long after a scene like this, next to a concrete building being built. I went there for the logistics export of coal and the mining side. It was insanely different to that of elements like timber and sand and so forth, because what you get here is the fact that they can no longer export timber and they've now kicked it into high gear to export coal. What's amazing is that they use barges to go out to the ships that are out at sea to load the coal, and they use machines like that to actually load the coal onto the barges. Now, aside from that, you actually have scenes like this which look so much like Bali to some people, but funny enough, there's not many tourists here, and it's mostly you find Indonesian people there and Chinese. And it was amazing for me because it's like you don't really get any foreigners seriously there. And the main mode of transport I found was actually bikes, much like India, where you actually get kids who are 16 on these bikes, weaving in and out of traffic rather dangerously. But it feels almost like that's just the only method of transport an entire village has, or family in some parts, and that is exactly what I was told when I was questioning about these bikes. But when you go further out, you get a lot of lush greenery, and it's utterly beautiful. But what's amazing is that you actually still have a lot of pollution. So you don't get night skies even in this sort of area, where this is the mining area, and that's actually the camp where they relaxed every once in a while from mining. And you don't actually get those starry nights in these areas because there's still a lot of pollution, although as green as it is. But they tend to remove a lot of the greenery just for this mining, and they have to load anywhere between 100 to 200 trucks by 8 p.m. and those trucks have to leave then, and they have to be off the road again by 6 a.m. purely because that's the period of time that they're allowed to move coal from the mining area to the ports. And it's amazing because of the efficiency that's required to actually get these out from the mining zones into the ports and then back again in that span of time without any problems. And you even get sometimes trucks top sizing because they've overloaded them just to try and get more out from these mining areas. They drain water out and so forth, they clear landslides, and then they also clear a lot of the landscaping too. So it's amazing in that sense, whereby they have to be so efficient just to accomplish that task. And you get market areas like this where you have the women sitting around with the rice and the men on the other side directly opposite with the fish and so forth. But what was amazing was how aware everyone in Indonesia in these remote areas are when a foreigner is amongst them. And taking pictures in these sort of areas with a Leica M9 was a lot easier than that with a Canon camera, but at the same time it really does teach you to be a lot more subtle and silent. And a way of documenting life with a Leica M9 is so different to the way of documenting it with Canon, because of the way and the ability you have to really get up close or further away without disturbing the subject, and you have to kind of learn it. It's almost an art in itself. And a lot of the people, though, I guess noticed me purely because I was in red and white on any given day. Those are the colors I took with me purely because it just seemed like the obvious choice to make for me, but obviously those were bad colors to choose if you wanted to stay almost non-existent. Now, when I went further around the places, you start getting very nice housing, but then you also have these houses right next to the railway tracks, which I can only imagine how annoying it is, but these railway tracks are looking to expand them for the coal mines and use them for getting from the mines to the ports. And they actually run through these remote areas, for example, that there is coal mines right near them. And I only took my iPad, my iPod Nano watch, my iPhone, and my BlackBerry, as well as my Leica, and those are the only things I took, and I took 2 Leica batteries. But what was amazing was a lot of these photos, like this one, were me driving around. I had set the focal length and the aperture for the camera as well as the shutter speed, and just going ahead and just taking photos as I was going. It was incredible because you can only have that one single moment in time to actually get that photo, and I almost felt as if I didn't have something as versatile as my M9, I wouldn't be able to actually capture a lot of these photos, or it's almost in silence. And even on the airplane, for example, no one really even noticed me taking photos and everything, and it was almost as if the shutter wasn't even noticed by anyone, the sound of it clicking. And it's incredible because when you go into a place like Pekanbaru, for example, it's vastly different from, say, Padang or Lahat, purely because it's civilization has moved forward there, whilst in Lahat it's sort of stayed as a mining town. And it's incredible for that fact that the way in which the mentality, though, that crosses between the different cities is all the same. Everyone's relaxed, as you can see. And it's not that it's a Friday after prayer like it is in Dubai when everyone's also relaxed then. No, it's every day that you see these kind of images. And I don't think I could have really experienced this any other way had I gone with a Canon camera, for example, like I said. But what was fun was when we stopped in places like this. This is a fish farm. It's just so utterly beautiful, and the wind and everything that was at that place was just stunning, you know, because it's a nice cool breeze. And there's this guy on the left hand side of the photo at the bottom left, and I didn't realize it till after I took the photo, and he was so happy for some reason I'm taking a photo of the cars and everything. But it was incredible because on this bridge you have such a beautiful view. Driving on the roads really helped get me to see the vast landscapes that I had. But as a whole, this trip really was an eye-opener, and it really helped me train with a Leica M9 and more so with a 35mm focal length, and it was utterly stunning to be able to see these various areas. So thanks guys for watching if you got this far, and I hope to see you guys again, or show you guys some more photos.